Let us do a quick prayer. Master Jesus, we are here amongst friends in this beautiful day, looking for everything we could absorb from Kardec's Medium's book. Be with us through this study, giving us the right intuition, the right thoughts. Allow us to identify ourselves or to clarify our doubts. Be with us today and always. So be it.
So be it.
I can see that we have new visitors today, so welcome. And the way we do things here is very simple. We do not follow a study per se. We go through the medium's book, we have conversations, we clarify our doubts, we make questions. We are not in a hurry. From time to time, we basically stay in the first sentence and we carry on. So feel free to participate, okay? So let me share with you all the medium's book. I believe you can see my book now.
Yes.
That's very good. Yes.
Sorry, I just want to say that I'm going to switch the camera off because it helps with the connection in my house.
That's fine.
Okay.
Just one thing. I cannot see if it's recording properly. Let me just stop sharing. Yes, it's recording. So now I'm sharing. So we are starting the IT92 this morning, the hurling of objects. The explanation of how inert objects are moved naturally applies to all the spontaneous effects we have just dealt with. So he's telling us here that the mechanism behind is exactly the same, right? Although they are louder than raps within a table, noises have the same cause. The hurling and displacement of objects are produced by the same force that lifts any object into the air. There is even a circumstance that serves to support this theory. We might ask where the medium may be found in these cases. And the spirits have explained that there is always someone whose forces are used unwillingly. Remember that last week somebody asked about that means that when we do have this kind of phenomena, we have a medium nearby or at home. And you see, sometimes people are donating the energy, the ectoplasm that is required to do this phenomena, without even realize it. Spontaneous manifestations rarely occur in isolated areas, but almost always occur in inhabited houses and are due to the presence of certain individuals who unknowingly exert their influence. These people are mediums but are unaware of their abilities. We thus call them natural mediums. They are to the other mediums what natural somnambulism are to magnetism somnambulists, and are as worthy of examination. Something came to my mind here, came to our attention during the week. A person is having mediumship reactions, meaning mediumship is coming more intense. She's having some situations that we could identify as mediumship. Her brother is medium, so this is nothing new for her. But she's not a spiritist and she don't want to be a medium. We've been asked to make a consultation with our benefactors, and the answer was, well, her mother was medium. And we know that this is organic, or at least part of it is organic. So it's very natural that she's also medium. In regards to the person not willingly embrace her mediumship, we all have the free will. But sometimes the mediumship becomes so strong that you cannot ignore, and then you know what to do. We see that many times, many times. The person is medium, knows there is something weird happening with her or him, feels that something different is happening, goes to the doctor don't find anything, or in the best case, the doctor don't find anything, because sometimes the doctor may misunderstand what he can see, if it is mediumship, of course, and becomes more and more intense. The person, everyone always have the free will. But every choice we make has a consequence. So we need to be prepared to burden those consequences. The voluntary or involuntary intervention of an individual endowed with a special aptitude appears to be necessary in most cases to produce this phenomena. Although sometimes there are circumstances where a spirit seems to be acting alone. However, even in such cases, it could still be taking the animalized fluid from someone who is not in the immediate area. Who is not on the immediate area. It's not defining here 10 meters, 100 meters, 1 kilometer. It's just saying that the medium who is donating the fluid may not be in the area. Could be very far away. Very far away. In one of the meetings we have, and some of you are participants here, on the end, we did ask the benefactor why we feel like we are donating energy in a more intensive fashion in some of the meetings. The answer was, because we collect your fluids, your energy, to be used where they are required, where they are needed, to help people that are in need. So we do have several informations coming pointing to the same direction, i.e., we donate energy, ectoplasm, or whatever you want to call, without knowing, without realize we are donating. Some people do. This energy, I'm using the word energy because people feel more comfortable with that word, but this ectoplasm can be used in the area where you are, nearby, or far away. The quality of this energy / ectoplasm depends on what you eat, depends on your behavior, depends on your choices, but it can be done. This would explain why it is that even though spirits are constantly around us, they do not cause disturbance all the time. A spirit must first want to and must have a purpose and a motive, without which it does not do anything. And I go a bit beyond that. He needs to know how to. Let me paint a picture for you here. We know how to drive a car, right? Very nice. We get inside the car, we switch on, first gear, here we go. How many of us know how to repair a car if it does not work? Not many. So some people are not able to produce those phenomena, some spirits, because they don't know how to. You need to have the minimum knowledge to perform anything. Then it must find an individual nearby who is capable of aiding it where it is intended to act. A coincidence that rarely happens. We know there is no coincidence, right? And as we discussed here before, if we do have a phenomenon happening near you, be attentive. There's something, there's a message that is trying to get through you. And as I used to say, possibly is a wake-up call. I see a hand, but who is putting a hand here? Oh, hi, Sila.
Hi, I'm back with the questions. Because you're saying like you mentioned that something can happen different place than the person with the energy is. I also I've read somewhere that talk about how, for example, I live in my house, so my house is impregnate with my energy, so things can happen in my house even if I'm not here. Like objects can move or because it has the energy already there as well. Is that true? Or
Here we go, that word again, energy.
I mean, I follow you. You say energy. I'm following.
I'm using energy to make people understand
I
easily.
know.
Our thoughts, they can impregnate objects where we are, our clothes, things we like to use, right? We can impregnate things, right? Sensitive mediums, when they approach those objects, they can perceive that. You definitely, you leave part of you where you are. Honestly, I have a hard time to see your fluid being used when you are not around. Can be, technically can be, if your fluids have been stored, handled for this purpose. It's not like, oh, I'm in my bedroom. I'm spend good part of my life in my bedroom. When I'm not there, things will happen in my bedroom, even if I'm not there. I haven't seen any report about that. I believe technically it's possible. If, again, the spirit that is promoting this phenomena has the knowledge to capture that fluid, store that fluid, and use it when he wants to. But there's a supervision for all of this. Imagine if any spirit come to your room, decide to get your energy, and use to do whatever they want. It will be hard to live in your bedroom, right? Because we know we are surrounded by spirits all the time. We know that we cannot hide, if I put this way. Imagine if they can do that anytime, any spirit, because we are surrounded by good and not so good spirits. So if they come closer to do this, it's because they've been granted a higher authorization, so to speak, to make that happen. The case that I was telling like early today, that person is 50-ish years old. Only now is becoming intense some of the mediumship symptoms, if I may say like that. Do you think it's a coincidence? No. We're seeing that happening over and over and over. It's now. You need to do something now. I need to wake you up. I need to get your attention. I need you to realize that what you're not doing. And then you start to have those phenomena. You start to have those feelings more intensive way. Otherwise, you would spend another 50 years not even bothering about it. When something becomes more intense, then you may not like it, but you cannot deny that something is happening, right? A lot of us, we don't know we are mediums, or we don't know how to identify that we are mediums. If you speak with an experienced medium that, oh, I'm having this, this, and this, sometimes this, chances are that one medium will identify the other. It's easy to identify who is medium if you are familiar with. But if you're going to speak to someone that does not even know what a spirit is, what a mediumship is, well, I'm feeling this, well, good for you. And then it's there. No? But if that thing is start to come more and more and more, you will need to do something about it. And that's when we got what I call a wake-up call. Recently, speaking to a gentleman, he was told that he needs to develop his mediumship because he's medium. And according to the benefactors, he has a kind of good degree of mediumship he could be using. He was surprised. Really? Yeah, that's what we've been told. Oh, we need to talk. I'm not going to spend time speaking about that here, but you see, many of us, we don't realize that we are mediums until something happens. And then someone will come quickly to correct me. But Kardec said we all are mediums. Yes, we all are mediums. We all have sensibility. But generally speaking, we call mediums those who have this mediumship in an intensive format, ostensive format. Okay? And as we're talking about it, mediumship is organic, period. Somebody that denies that needs to read and study Kardec to start with, and speak to your benefactors, right? Mediumship is organic. And so it's very, very common that if I'm a medium, my son have a good chances of being medium. Because part of what we need to have a mediumship coming at home is organic. All right? Hi, Olivia.
Hi. I'm new to all this. Less new. I started attending Elsa's study group recently, and the case you mentioned is very close to what's been happening to me, if not identical, I would say. And in my case, I'm an atheist and a humanist, and I've been quite happy like that for not a great many years, but for quite a few years. And then things started to happen. They had happened before a few years ago. I put it to the back of my mind, and I decided not to think about it. I didn't want to think about it. I am not happy that these things are happening. I am, scared. I mean, I'm quite scared because I did not invite it into my life. I come from a family of spiritists, and both mom and my brother are practicing spiritists, and they've been doing it for quite some time. So they advised, my brother advised, I spoke to Elsa, and it's been very enlightening. However, I'm still struggling because it's not that I don't want it for the sake of it. I'm not being stubborn. I just don't think I need it in my life. It's causing upheaval because I'm seeing things. Things are happening in my household, and through my brother and through Elsa and through my sister as well, I've been told not to fear. And I don't fear because I don't think it can hurt me. I don't feel afraid, but I feel highly unsettled. And that's why I'm here. And I thought I might say that because I'm here from a place where I kind of want to understand why it's happening. I have been reading some of the books. I started now, I'm like literally crawling, not standing up yet. But there's still part of me that is really, really struggling to buy into the whole thing. It isn't that I don't want to, is that I can't just be a hypocrite and say, oh, yes, I read a couple of pages. Wow, I believe all that. I'm quite pragmatic as well and materialistic. But I'm really trying to understand what's going on because as I mentioned to Elsa, if I don't, I have a feeling I'm going completely mad. And I don't think I'm going mad, but I've got people around me who are equally, my whole family, they're atheists. And they are slightly concerned about this direction I'm following now. Trying to understand these things. One of them calls it, and it's no offense, please. It is just that I'm being very honest about it. One of them calls it mumbo jumbo. What kind of jumbo is this? Why are you going this way? Why are you doing this? Maybe, you just need a holiday. I thought I've just had a holiday. And something really weird happens every time I talk about it. I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps that completely overwhelm me. And I'm not feeling cold at all. Recently, I had an experience where I was in our second home, where I made the bed. The bed was nice and pristine. I go downstairs for a cup of coffee. There's only my husband and I at home. And when I come back upstairs, there's a very distinct shape as if someone had sat on it. I asked my husband and he said, I'm downstairs. So I'm back up the next day. I always make my bed. It's something that I don't leave my bedroom without making my bed. And again, it's nice and smooth. I go back downstairs. Again, simple routine to have my cup of coffee. Husband is downstairs. I come back upstairs and the bloody thing is, sorry, I shouldn't be, and the bed is again. The bed is again. It literally has a hole. It really has a very big dent. I showed the photo to Elsa. Matter of fact, yesterday, I wasn't scared because I can't get scared. I get goosebumps all over my body. And then it comes like a wave. And then I just said, well, I had mentioned it to my brother and I just said to the bed, my husband thought I was going, he said, who the heck are you talking to? And I said, I'm just to myself. And I just said, please leave my bed alone. This is my bed. I don't want you here. Whatever you are, just go. And then it stopped. But I also, because I was there for 11 days, also during these 11 days, I had a vision. It isn't the first time I have a vision, but in the past, I used to put it down to optical illusion. Maybe it's the light hitting the retina of my eyes. Maybe it's a thought that I had, and the imprint of that thought is in my head, which science has demonstrated that can happen. But then I just thought, what you're saying now, all these little things can't just be a coincidence. And they are kind of intensifying.
Yes.
And I just thought, well, yeah, it's time to put my barriers down and talk to people who might be able to shed some light, guide me through. I do not feel comfortable with this thing that, as my brother was told, there was a message for me. He lives in New York, that I am an ostensive medium, whatever the heck that means. And I said, I don't want to be anything. I just want to be Olivia. I just want to go back and not have to deal with these weird thoughts and these strong thoughts. Yeah, that sometimes happen. And yeah. So
you gave
that's
so
it.
much
Thank
material. You gave me so much material to talk today that I don't even know from where to start. But before I start to say about anything, Olivia, let me speak about me first. So then you
Okay.
understand better some comments that I'll made for you. I'm born in a spiritist family. So from day one, I was exposed to all of this. All of this is very natural to me. A few years down the line, I got married. I could identify that my wife, she was a medium. But I respect that. She did not like it. She did not want it. She was afraid. I never said anything to her because I knew she was afraid. I knew she was not comfortable with that. Until it became very intense. And then I had to tell her, I know what it is. I know how it can help. So we were married for like 10 years-ish. And I never tried to convince her of anything. So why I'm telling you that? I'm not here to convince you about anything. That's not what I do here. Being atheist is perfect because Spiritism is not a branch, it's not a religion, it's nothing like that. It's not like Catholicism, it's not like Buddhism, it's nothing like that, it's a philosophy. And what I'm doing here is helping people to identify themselves, to learn how to deal with what they don't know they have. That's mediumship. It's very natural to be afraid about something you don't know. And even you saying that you're not afraid of, deep inside, I bet you had a little bit of fear. Because it's human. This is human. You're not the first person that I met with exactly same characteristics you described to us today. So it's very natural. Have you been to Japan? No. It would be scary to go over there, not being able to communicate, not being able to read what was in the sign, know if the person is telling you to go left or right. I mean, talking about going to a different country. Imagine being in contact with something that's not material. I don't even know if it's true or not. So that's very natural. And honestly, I think it's positive to be afraid of. That's why we need to study to understand what is happening. I'm not here to convince you to become a spiritist. That's not what I want. Period. If you see someone trying to convince you to become a spiritist, talk to me. Because that's not what we do. We are here to help. Mediumship is organic. There is no switch on and off. If someone says to you that I will fix your problem, if you see that as a problem, I will take it out from you, not going to happen. I'm being very blunt and directly so then you can realize what you're coming in contact with. It's organic. It's organic. You may decide to ignore. It's your right. It may become more intense. Because if it is a wake-up call now, something is coming. Is a message coming to you. You are not starting to be medium today. You were born medium. And we all, before we came to Earth, we've been prepared to. But many of us, because we were born in a different family, because we were not having the opportunity, we never been in contact with, we did not know. We don't bring all those memories alive in our brain, so we did not know. And sometimes it becomes so overwhelming that you cannot deny anymore. You can continue being an atheist. That's not an issue. But there are things you'll be in contact with that will make you think. In my family, me, my wife, my daughter, my son, we are mediums. My daughter, she's afraid of. She don't want to. I respect her decision entirely. To the point that she was trying to test me, can you take me to the church? Of course I will. Really? Yes. I just want you to be comfortable with who you are. And remember, I'm here to help. Many years down the line, she and her actual husband, I came to him. I noticed that she's a bit off. If this, and this happens to her, tell me. Perhaps I'll be able to help her. Okay, deal. So I don't interfere with someone's choice. I don't like to. Only if it's an accident and I'm doing it without realizing it. Mediumship is organic. This, you're feeling goosebumps? This is not goosebumps. It's something else. Mediumship we have for one purpose. Help spirits, incarnated and discarnated spirits. As an atheist, you probably have a very hard time to accept the concept that there are spirits, right?
I believe in energy. I believe in a sort of metaphysical aspect of energy. I believe energy doesn't just disappear. It is constantly being recycled and reused. I believe that, in a poltergeist phenomena as well. I find it a little bit harder to believe that out of the billions of human beings that have inhabited the planet, and we're talking about modern man, that they are there making communication, overlooking. It's really hard to put it into words, because whilst I feel these things, and I know they're coming from someplace, which I can't explain. That's why I'm here. And I'm trying to kind of be open-minded about things. I believe that once you're gone, and your energy is just reabsorbed by, the planet. Where it goes, where it doesn't go, I honestly don't know. I have no idea. But I feel, I just don't want this disruption. This has been a massive disruption to my life, because it's clashing with concepts that I have at home. It's not very, it's hard to explain to an English atheist husband that
what's going on
in these meetings, and
yes.
Oh yeah, he is very unsettled, because he says, can you not just go back to what you used to be? He said, I wish I could, but then, when you get these things and you don't know what to do with them, and they become more and more intense, and I'm struggling to not think about it, because I'm now thinking, when am I going to get another wave? When am I going to get another, and this is no way to live.
When this is going to happen again, right? When this is going to happen again. And I am pretty much into science. I like to do in my free time research, and somehow end up evaluating what I feel like a philosophy too. And if you speak about that with a scientist, he cannot prove it exists. He cannot prove it does not exist. So we start already at 50-50. If we are materialist, it's a different type of thing. If we are a materialist, we are depending on what we can touch, what I can prove. And this paradox of 50-50 is already a problem. Because I don't believe, but I cannot prove that does not exist. So we are in face of a problem. When we talk about energy is coming from something or from somewhere, right? When we talk about what we were starting here about phenomena, things moving, because previous chapters we were studying how the phenomena happens, and that goes in line with the poltergeist, if you like. Must have something to make it happen. Nothing generates nothing. Inertia does not create movements. And if this movement is intelligent, must have an intelligence creating this movement. So then we have a problem. I don't believe, I don't see, I don't know, but the logic point me to a direction that I cannot ignore. Because there is something. There is something. If we open our eyes to things that we see today due to the social media mainly, because now I can see things in Japan, in US, on the same minute, it's hard to explain if there's no spirit, if we are no spirit. How can we explain a toddler, 2 years old, playing Chopin on the piano without ever being in contact with any teacher, piano teacher? One day he went to the piano, started to play. How can we explain that? Oh, I cannot. How can I explain people that now, I was even read that today on the Spiritist magazine, near-death experience. How can we explain someone that is in face of a massive trauma or surgery or heart attack or whatever, can see what is happening for like 13 minutes when he was considered as dead, and he can describe when he came back with precision the procedures the doctor did, conversations they had, things that happened outside the surgery room. How can we explain that? So we have a problem. There are things that are out there and we cannot explain. And I respect that. But those answers we can find here. Or at least, even if I don't believe, I will have food for thought to allow to identify that around me. Hi, Ulrich, I'll give you the word in 2 minutes, okay? And things like that, I cannot deny. As I said to you, I'm born in a Spiritist family. I'm dealing with the spirits since I was very young. I cannot deny. I have lived things that even Spiritists have a hard time to accept because they never experienced themselves. That's very natural. That's very natural. But I cannot deny. If you ask me, do you believe in life after death? My answer to you will be no. I don't believe. I know. I know. With what I've been through, with what I experienced in my life, for me, my family, and with many others, I cannot tell you that I believe. I know. So sometimes we have to experience things to start to change the paradigm, to start to change the way we see. Intensity is just a wake-up call. Mediumship is not going to go away. You accepting or not is another thing. You believing or not is another thing. But what I'm telling you, and maybe it sounds a bit blunt, is because I don't want you to try to search for help in a place that people may try to misguide you. But there's a lot. People who ask you for money. People who tell you to do things that are totally nonsense. And magic wand does not exist. If I could give you a suggestion, try to find information to know who you are. Because right now, I'm pretty sure you have lots of doubts. Something that I thought was impossible to happen is happening with me. My God, what did I do to deserve this? It's a very natural thought. Very natural thought. Now, my recommendation for you: study the matter to understand what's going on, to identify what is going on, not to someone coming to you and tell this is that, is evil, is not evil, is possible. No, you by yourself start to understand what is happening. That is important. You by yourself, that is important. And I think she's gone. I don't see her anymore. Oh, she's here. Olivia, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's just because my internet connection has become unstable.
Okay.
So I need to just stop the recording.
Okay. Just to finalize what I was doing, what I was saying, study, learn to allow you to know yourself. Don't listen to many information that will come to you, because so many of them will be wrong and will misguide you. Find true, serious information to allow you to understand what's going on. Then you make your decision, because the decision is only yours. Embrace it or not, is only yours. Every decision we make has consequences. I don't need to tell you that. Every decision we make has consequences. But I don't want to go too deep. Mm-hmm. We receive mediumship to practice charity. That's why we are mediums. Some of us, we got lost on the way, and we did things we are not proud of after. But mediumship, we receive to do charity. So now let me speak to Ulrich, because he's probably there, desperate to talk to me for like the last 10 minutes. Hi, Ulrich.
Hi, nice to hear you. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Just briefly about the following. Maybe to distinguish two dimensions. The one being the issue of nature, the concept of enlarged naturalism, which means to a hardcore materialist, anything that exists is matter, and beyond matter there is nothing existing. Now, historically, materialism has been aligned with atheism, but it's not the same thing, which means we can subscribe to an enlarged, extended naturalism, taking the paranormal phenomena, the spirit realm, the telekinetic thing, that things begin to flow through the room, or the blanket, the bed is in a mess again, and things like that. Telekinetic phenomena of an enlarged nature, which has nothing spiritual in it. And that is one point for materialists to go beyond that, because they're confronted with things that should not happen if matter is the only principle of reality. Okay, so this is one step. The other one being the spiritual, that spirits may convey something of a higher order, of a divine order. And at this point, I believe, although Kardasism frames itself as science and being experiential in philosophy, it is undeniably a spiritual philosophy. So the spiritual dimension of Kardasism is one thing, and to identify that and to relate to it, and also see what were the antecedents, what is the ancestry of Kardasism in spiritual traditions, and so on. That is one thing. It's a beautiful thing, as I'm convinced. And the other thing is, it's been reported also outside of the Kardasist frame in research on paranormal phenomena in the 20th century, especially, that people are sometimes shaken out of their cozy materialistic worldview by things that happen that should not happen, and they become aware there is much more going on and how to deal with it. And the debate we just had reflected some of this amazement Now, what is going on and what is reality really? Thank you very much also for your very interesting initial introduction into the phenomenology of spirit manifestations of mediumism. It is highly, highly interesting. Thank you very much for that.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes.
We were talking about two different things.
No, about two different dimensions that often come together in one event. Not necessarily, but quite often. Sometimes these paranormal events can have a message to us that is of a spiritual nature, but not always.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of to frame it, the first thing would be, see, religious or non-religious in this category. And some non-religious, decidedly non-religious people are also confronted with an extended nature, that there is something beyond the material, that is immaterial, that is mediumistic, that is paranormal, with all the phenomena that happen there, and then to their amazement, what is going on? But then to discover that there may be something like spirits is not necessarily religious, as you also stated, but it can be so.
Exactly. I personally am not inclined to the religious side of the spiritism. Even
Yes.
I'm a Brazilian, I'm not inclined to that side of spiritism, because I like to see the practical and the results of what I do. The result of what we do through mediumship meetings is undeniable. We are helping people. We can see that. When I mean people, are spirits incarnated or discarnated. There are things that, I mean, we have a group of doctors, physicians. They are part of what we do, to analyze, to evaluate things that science and the medicine cannot explain, and yet is there. There's a lot of things behind what people think is just a religion or a philosophy, but it's more than that, right? We are living a very important moment in history where things that we were being given as granted, that were cast in stone, like a real truth, start to fall apart. Science is catching up a lot of things. Our satellites going everywhere is proving there are things that we thought was that and is no longer there. There are things we don't even know what it is now. This new satellite that's James Webb, that is bringing new information every day, and the science don't. I'm talking about science. I'm not talking about people, ordinary people. I'm talking about very clever people. They don't even know what it is, and it's breaking formulas, it's breaking concepts of people like Einstein, for example. So we are living a very important moment in history where, if we like or not, we'll have to reconsider things that we thought was the truth. Remember that not too long ago, the maximum we could believe was a couple of planets around our max Earth. The other planets were around us just to be there, to be seen on the sky. Now we have billions, trillions, zillions of galaxies. My God, what is out there? People even asking if what we've been granted as a law of physics is not just a part of what we know compared to the immense variety of what we don't know. So if you do not believe in spirit, that's fine. That's no problem. But if they are coming to you, you have a problem. Why you have a problem? Because you cannot deny what you feel, what you see, what you hear. You cannot deny. Or we have a problem, a physical problem. Because if you go to the doctor, to psychologists and other people, telling them that I'm listening to things, I can see things, the outcome can be different. I had few examples of people going to psych hospitals and staying there for quite some time because they didn't have a chance to know a bit about what we do here. So of course, I'm feeling something. I feel unsafe. I feel unsettled. I feel afraid about something that's happening in my body. I will go to the doctor, of course. I need to go to my GP. Please help me. And he will do. By all means, he's not wrong. He will do with what he knows. But sometimes not what we need. And if we are exposed for too long to some unrequited treatment, our physical body may suffer consequences that we cannot be reversed. We had examples of that as well. My God, I'm speaking a lot today.
May I briefly respond and just chip in a small thing? In Germany, there is an eminent scholar, or a doctor in physics, doctor in psychology, Walter von Lucadou. And decades ago, he could found an institution for counseling with the support of the province of Baden-Württemberg, funded annually with quite a large sum. And he had a staff of members in his around him, in his body, and they provided counseling in events of paranormal experiences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Things would happen, for instance, telekinetic things. In an apartment, all of a sudden, a precious Chinese vase came down, or the library, the bookshelf fell just like by itself. In the morning, people wake up. What has happened here? There must have been somebody who broke in here. So they called the police. So the police come and said, no, there is no such break-in. You must have had an argument. Maybe you don't remember well. No, certainly not. No. It was all a myth this morning. Let's just look what happened here. No, but we can for sure say nobody broke in here. You know, maybe we should take you to the psychiatric hospital for you to calm down and maybe regain your memory. It must have been a lapse of memory. And this happened, it's no joke, it's happened more than just a few times where people began to doubt their own sanity and go to psychiatric hospital and stay there till they lost any knowledge of what has happened, or they began to say, maybe I was indeed doing strange things, right? So after this counseling institution was founded, people who had such experiences or events, or the police could come and call and say, look, we have had this, what do you think of it? They said, oh yes, this makes sense, this is a paranormal event. By the way, that Chinese vase, does it have any emotional relation? Oh yes, that was a gift of my mother-in-law. And then it turns out there were tensions between the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law. So these tensions apparently manifested themselves by paranormal events to show up like that. Sometimes there was a meaning behind these things. So then this led to a certain acceptance of these things in public, that there may be something like paranormal, and it's not necessary to take people to the psychiatric hospital and lock them up for indefinitely. It's a very serious matter. Unfortunately, the turning of the time is that there was a change in the directorship in the province. This institution has been closed, and they have been harassed with lawsuits to pay back hundreds of thousands of euros in support for allegedly abusing them for paranormal spiritistic activities instead of a rational analysis, and that means rationalization. Fortunately, this could be fended off, but the institution is closed, unfortunately also due to age of von Lucadou. And it seems like as if Kardasism is stepping in here, providing valuable address and expertise to counsel on these things, so that people may be convinced it's real and we're not crazy.
Our Spiritist center back in Brazil was attached to a psychiatric hospital, a Spiritist psychiatric hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been exposed to so many histories. When you start to talk, Ulrich, I start to laugh because, well, I've seen this already. People exactly the same, go to the psychiatric institution and they are kindly invited to remain there for quite some time. And things like that happen a lot. And before I allow Liz, oh, there's another hand here to talk, and our time is going by. What we teach here, what we try to learn here with this Mediums book, is a safe basis to any branch of science that wants to investigate, or any philosophy, any religion who deal with that, because this is the safest method to handle those phenomena. When we don't have a safe method, when we don't have something we can rely upon, then become risky. Then I'll have somebody dealing with something that they do not know in a way that may have a different outcome they wish. So doesn't matter where you're coming from, doesn't matter what you believe. This is the same, and I do quite a lot of research with other beliefs regarding the mediumistic activities like paranormal and things like that. This is by far the safest reference I found until today. So this, someone that is coming just to learn, to feel safe and carry on with what they do, is already welcome. So, hi, Liz.
Hi, guys. It just kind of all these discussions so far, and I think it's been marvelous today. And it kind of fired up in my memory everything that I've been kind of looking for throughout my life, and also as a spiritist. I love science like you, Guilherme, love science, love history, love lots of things that can be, explained by research, and we can observe and all of this. But one of the things that there is no scientist in the world that they can say is that there is experiences that people that can be dismissed regarding spirits, regarding communications, regarding reincarnation, regarding so many things. And, I'm really grateful for those people that never gave up their line of research, and people that are picking up, like there was this researcher, I just don't know names, guys, you may know more than me, this researcher in the United States that gathered so many thousands of experiences, of near-death experiences, of experience of young people, to remember their past lives. Lots of experiences you can't be denied, and that they methodically went and checked every single information and everything matched. And you have now research centers in Brazil. We have research centers here in UK for these paranormal things. This is as far as I know. Besides everything that I don't know. And besides lots of, for example, experiences of professionals like doctors, surgeons, people that cannot just explain certain things that happens to them. And I'm not even talking about mediumship. And it is just so important for us to go back to this, because so many times when I say to people I'm a spiritist and I know this and I know that by my own experience, they always come to me, but this is there is nothing that proves any of this. And I said, to be honest with you, it's the contrary. There have been so many people, serious people, and Kardec is one of them, a scientist that decided to study phenomena that were happening in his life. And after Kardec came many others, and psychiatrists, psychologists. There's so many people throughout all these last couple of centuries studying.
He had a Nobel Prize. They had a Nobel Prize too.
That's right. I didn't know that. So, when I say this to people, I said, guys, you have like people doing experiments. I can't remember the name of this guy that just recently was doing experiments about the reality of the spiritual life, yes or no. And it is amazing. And there are still lots of people that, because of the stigmas that were put on people that seriously wanted to research, and I can clearly say that some researchers, which one was the one you were saying, Guilherme, that won the Nobel Prize?
He's English.
Yeah, what's his name?
I forgot.
Is the Crookes, is it?
I think it's Crookes, yeah.
Yes. So he was ridiculized. He was banned from things. He was told he was old and senile because he was using the methodology that he did all his research to research the paranormal phenomena that he was observing. So people get scared to say, look, we have these experiences you can't deny. And like, for example,
Yes.
lots of other psychologists in the 60s, and they wrote lots of things that they couldn't deny. They were seeing there in consulting people. These experiences you can't deny, and you can't explain by a materialistic view. And there is one thing that I say to everybody: whether you can see it or not, the sun is up in the sky. The sun will continue to shine. The moon will continue to go around the earth. Whether you believe it or not, whether you can see it or not, things will continue to happen.
Please, I'm sorry to interrupt
It's
you.
all right. It's done. Thank you very much.
I will give 2 minutes to Ina before we pass to Pablo because we need to wrap up. Hi, Ina.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to, I try to be quick. From my perspective, as someone who recently joined the Spiritist community and who also experienced many things, I just wanted to share with I think Olivia it was, that I think one of the things that is happening with a person when suddenly they are conflicted with this thing that they didn't believe in is how will it, like this, maybe from psychological perspective, how does it influence the understanding of the self? Because what happened in my case and what was quite a real fear for me is like, who am I when I have to go through these changes? Like what becomes of me, or like will I be able to remain myself? And I think those are the questions that maybe generate or are one of the questions that could generate this fear and this confusion around what you experience and the things that you see and how does it interact with the world. And I think that the change is part of life, and even though we are this mediumistic abilities are like raising or appearing out of sudden, we can handle it and we still remain ourselves, because coming back to your true values and to your true
Ina, you have 30 seconds.
No, it's okay. I'm pretty much done. It's just remain true to yourself and just embrace and learn, as all the other people said, what we need to do to understand this, and try to understand as much as you can, but it doesn't change who you are. And I think that is an important message that maybe you need to hear. Thank you.
Okay, Pablo, that's with you.
Let's just close our eyes quickly and ask the higher spheres, our Father, to send us light so that we can feel embraced, knowing that we are here for a noble purpose of better understanding the nature of ourselves that not always is straightforward, but we know that there is nothing out of the ordinary. It is just that we don't see the full picture, but it's always there. So let's keep studying, learning, and earning our inner peace to understand that we are here to help one another. So be it.
So be it.
Everyone, very nice. Looking forward to see you next week. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Well,